love this show.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. That's very kind. Yeah, thanks. Thank you.
Tell me about the, how do you guys decide on, because there's some anime, there's some of it like old classic animation style, some of it old Looney Tunes kind of style.
Yeah.
How do you guys decide on which style?
So some of the stories, some of the scripts when we started working them had a real natural flavor. Like Laser Baby's Day Out was always going to be a Looney Tunes episode. We knew that when we started writing that with Seth and Evan. That's what that was going to be from the very start. Justin Roiland's episode, we knew was going to be a Rick and Morty kind of styled episode. We knew that from the very start. Some of the others, we waited until the script kind of came together, and then we started talking about what style suited the material. So we always tried to find the style that worked best with the script, with the idea, with what we were trying to communicate, basically.
Is there like an animation style that you haven't done yet that you love, like a specific famous animator or something that you kind of?
Yeah, well, like Gendy's stuff, Gendy Tartakovsky's stuff is incredible. We didn't do any CG at all in first season. We just didn't have the time. We only had like 10 months. I mean, there's little CG elements in parts of it, but we didn't do a CG episode. It'd be great to do something like a 70s style, like Saturday morning show, like the C-Lab kind of stuff. That would be great to do, like Johnny Quest kind of style. So, I mean, like, there's tons of stuff we haven't done. Then you can even get into like specific directors who have their own styles, like Sylvain Chomet, Rubber Valley, Pete Candland, like people who have those kind of stuff. So we could do that, if we were going forward. So there's lots of territory untouched, is I guess what I'm trying to say.
Quick question. I'm sorry. No, go ahead. No, you go ahead. Oh.
So how much liberty do you have taking the concept of the boys from live action to animation, and how much do they allow you to push the envelope on?
Well, so Eric Kripke, who created The Boys, and is the showrunner on we call it the Mothership show, the main series, was obviously a big part of Diabolical. He was in every meeting. He was on there all the time. And he was the one who was always like, go as far as you can. Just like, he would keep on pushing us to go like, he's like, I think this can be bloodier. I think this can be more graphic. And we're like, yes, you're right. Of course. So he was instrumental in letting us go as far as we could and trying to get us to push further on the scripts, on the acting, on the material, on the animation. So, he was a huge part of that. And Amazon Studios, of course, was great, and almost never saying no, and just being like, "Oh, you want it? Okay, sure, let's do it. Why not?"
Two questions. Season 2, that's the first question. And the second question is the Andy Samberg, the one that he wrote. I don't know if you've seen, they have people who do reaction videos on YouTube. Have you seen some of those reaction videos?
No, are there some for that episode?
Oh, you have to watch them because this one woman, she was in tears. She literally was in tears, and she kept trying to, and then her friend, her guy friend was going like, yeah, I'm not crying, you're crying. So the question is, Andy Samberg, that is so incredibly against his type there, but it was a beautiful, absolutely beautiful episode.
Yeah.
How did you get that out of him?
Well, so Andy Samberg, obviously people know him from like Saturday Night Live, Lonely Island, obviously his acting and some of his writing career, but he loves short films and he loves film. So he's written a lot of other stuff. I'm not sure how much of it is produced or not produced. So it's when you start to meet him and work with him, and it's actually not out of character at all, which is amazing, which was a surprise to me too at the time. So that episode, the nicest thing is he came in with this really strong idea about doing it about cancer and about loss and about the idea that maybe there's natural things in life that you push against, but that's okay. They're natural things that should just happen. And then we brought on Giancarlo, who's our supervising director. He brought on this other director named Steve On, who's Korean, and he had a personal response to it because I think he had a similar, not obviously like what happened in the show, but he had a cancer loss in his family. So he's like, I find this really personal. I'd love to do it, and I'd like to make it Korean. I'd like to have it shift that way. And obviously, I'm not Korean. Andy Samberg's not Korean. Giancarlo's not Korean. But we were like, that sounds incredible. We will support you as much as we can, and we will help you. But you have to lead that because you are Korean. So we try to support that by hiring Korean actors. We have a Korean studio for that, animation studio. We have Korean designers. We hired a Korean composer.
It had the feel to it. No, I mean, it obviously had the feel to it.
Yeah, and then I'm very happy with the way that one came out. But it was this huge collaborative process that started with Andy and then went through Steve and Haisu Weidman, who is our composer, and it just came together in a way that I feel really lucky that it worked out that way and worked out that well.
Season 2.
Oh, season 2. Well, listen, watch more. Watch it again. Amazon has not given me a green light for season 2 yet. Fingers crossed. So break into other people's houses, turn it on their televisions if you can. I'd appreciate that. Hopefully, I would love to do a season 2.
Okay.
But we're still waiting for, to hear that. But yeah.
And also, oh sorry, no, the decision of that episode where Hughie is the Hughie that's on the comic book pages.
Yes.
No, because we're so used to, I'm sorry, I forget his name.
Garth Ennis, or Eric Kripke, you mean?
The one who played Hughie in the live action series.
Jack Quaid, yes.
So why go to that direction instead of
Oh, well, we went to that direction because that episode is Garth Ennis's episode. So Garth Ennis created the comic book version of The Boys, and he was one of the first people we went to for Diabolical, so we're like, let's do the Garth version. And I'm pretty sure this was Kripke's idea, and we're like, yeah, that sounds amazing. So we went to Garth Ennis, and he wrote us that episode, and then we're like, well, it has to be Simon Pegg playing Huey, because the character was always based off Simon Pegg in the books. It was clearly, he wrote the foreword to a couple of the collections, so, and also Simon was a friend of the show, because he'd been on the Mothership show, so we just called him up, and he was like, are you kidding? Absolutely, I will do that. Nice. So he was like, it wasn't even a question, we just went to him, and he was like, yes, and then we did it.
Now, going off of, as a comic book nerd, first and foremost, some of the characters on the show and the animated show are directly from the comics, but the one I can think of is Groundhog, who was changed completely from the comic character. Was that like do whatever, or did you have kind of a vision and you're like, this is the perfect character to slide into that?
So that was Aisha Tyler's episode, and Aisha Tyler, if you've talked to her, she's amazing. She's like a deep-cut comic book nerd in the best possible way. I love her for that. And she was like, when she wanted to do a story about Nubian Prince and Nubia, she was like, I want to bring in some other characters from around that era. She did that research, and she was like, I really like Groundhog. And we're like, that sounds amazing. Let's bring Groundhog in. And it's her version of Groundhog, in the same way it's her version of Nubian Prince and Nubia and stuff, so we helped along with that. But she just was like, I think he'd be great. And we're like, yes, he would be. And then we try to put in a couple of the lines from the comic books. He's always like, in the comics, he only says, gonna. This is one. So we cheat that. We put that into the episode. But he needed to be a bit more of a character for her episode. So.
All right.
Oh, guys, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Appreciate it.